Hello. First of all, I'd like to just say what brilliant speeches earlier on. And it is true, it is very cold in London, so it's a lot nicer in here. You might think it's nicer somewhere else, but truly, it's a beautiful country here. So if you're thinking about moving because it's pretty and nice and weather's better, no, don't do it. But to give you a little bit of an insight about myself, when Danudu asked me to speak about my journey, I thought I'll do just that. I'll explain a little bit more about how I ended up in London and how I took Kandyan Dancing to London. When I was about 6-7 years old, I was in Sri Lanka. I went to school here in Gujarat Convent, all-girls school. My mother changed countries from London to Dubai, Sri Lanka to Dubai, then to London. And so our entire family ended up migrating to the UK. The first couple years of us living there was great. It was a massive culture shock to myself and my brother. But one of the first things that we wanted to do was make sure that the integration of Sri Lanka to London was something that was still within us. And so we went to a local temple there where they practiced Buddhism and they taught Sinhala. And therein there was a class that taught dancing, which took a lot of my interest because I was a bit of an introvert when I first moved to London, and so I enjoyed the part about dancing where I didn't have to talk to anyone. And it was very enjoyable, and it was a matter of seeing something that was done in front of me and replicating it. And so for a couple of years, as part of the temple dancing group, I very much enjoyed Kandyan dancing. Some of you may know Mudyansa Disanayaka is a very renowned professor of dancing in Sri Lanka. So he used to come to London to conduct Sri Lankan New Year's, and so I took part in multiple shows under his guidance. A couple of years later, I started my university journey at University of Southampton, where I studied cybersecurity and criminology. It was a mixed degree. I was very much interested in ICT with the interest of cybersecurity, not the hard stuff where you had to program things, right? And so as soon as I joined university, something that I noticed was that everyone had created already, there were pre-existing communities of student societies that sort of took everyone into different directions. If you were a guitarist, there was a society for guitar students. If you were a dancer, there was a society for that type of dancing. And if you were interested in different hobbies, they had multiple different societies you can join and take part in. And what I noticed the most was there was nothing I could take part in other than the Sri Lankan club. So just the fact that I was Sri Lankan and there was a society in place for that, I knew that my interest was a little bit more specific and, more importantly, activity-based. So I tried to join some of the dance societies, and ballet and hip-hop was really not my thing. And so I decided to create a Kandyan Dance Society at university. And it proved to be very fun. I know university time for a lot of the youth is all about being studious and making sure you submit your assignments and your exams are done on time, and you focus very much on the study side of it. But for me, it was a massive balance of making sure that I was making my deadlines, but also I was in time for all of my rehearsals for any of the shows that represented the university. And so once I completed my degree, the next step was to move back home and start a career. And of course, once you have a degree in a certain field, what the expectation of you is to make sure that you get a job in that field. Otherwise, what's the point, right? And so to make my mom proud, I wanted to make sure I find myself the right job. And so I went into banking and fintech, not the hard stuff, financial technology, where we focused on cybersecurity compliance issues. And so now I work for HSBC Bank in their compliance division for cyber. On the side of being the cyber person that I am, I still didn't stop my dance journey, and I didn't want to. The reason being, it always gave me a chance to move away from whatever it was that was happening during my day, that was happening in life, whether it's family, friends, relationships. There always needs to be something else that you do for yourself. And dance was just that for me. And what I didn't realize was there was lots of people out there that wanted that same thing. And once I realized there's a small group of people who wanted the same thing, and there was no one else bringing everyone together, naturally, as the catering person that I am, I thought I'll do just that. And so I created a dance community in London for everyone to come together and learn Kandyan dancing. Whether you're Sri Lankan, whether you're mixed, or whether you're from London altogether, it was welcomed by any gender, any age, any ability level, and you had a place to come and dance. The beginning of London Kandyan dancing was taking part in University College London and King's College London's cultural shows. And these cultural shows were done in aid of charities where they contribute massive amounts of money to specific charities of their choosing. And as part of their cultural evening, they allow different styles of dancing and singing and acting to take part in these shows. And so I began my journey in cultural show performances in London. After about 5 to 6 dance shows like this, where I thought I had a significant amount of dancers and dance friends, and I had enough of a community that was created somewhat involuntarily, somewhat voluntarily, somewhat by force, because I knew they could dance and I saw the dancer in them. And so I thought perhaps it's a good time to have a show that is dedicated just for Sri Lankan dancing. And so my favorite project of all time, Narthana, was born. Narthana is the dance show that I host in London. For this year, it'll be 3 years running, where we showcase all things Sri Lankan traditional performing arts. So it ranges from Kandyan dancing all the way to contemporary and lyrical dances that focuses on Sinhala songs. And so as part of this project, it was important that I also had a dance-related background for me to provide the relevant education to everyone else that came to me. And so I took it on myself to do a master's degree that focuses purely on research that's about dancers outside of Sri Lanka. So that's the name of my project. I collaborated with multiple other dance practitioners that lived outside of Sri Lanka, but they were an active practitioner of dancing, whether it's a Sri Lankan community, or whether it's a temple, or whether it's a small group of people. I thought it would be nice to hear from their background to understand why they did what they did. And so this became a very focal point of my research, which also then helped me understand the purpose of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so it became evident that the point is to create a community and have them showcase what they're able to do in a performing arts to everyone else. And to sum things up, I'd say having a dance company myself and having practitioners who learn, who teach, who perform, who take part in shows, and who also look at Narthana as a way to come together. What happens during that time is from April to June, everyone rehearses, everyone practices, everyone learns different types of dances, and they perform in June. And so in my entire journey of dance, my focus has always been where there is a will, there is a way. And I thought by having a dance society at university, having a dance company as side of my career, and having a dance show that is purely run for Sri Lankans and run by Sri Lankans, and also then doing a degree that's also focused on Kandyan dancing, writing a book that's also about Kandyan dancing. All of these elements put together helped me realize that where there is a will, there is a way. You don't just have to be one thing in your life, if you feel like you're multi-talented, you have more than one thing that you can offer, not just for yourself, for those of you around you, I think you should do just that. And to finish off, if there is one thing you'd like to take away from what you heard from me, it's that the strength of your mind is a very powerful thing, and whatever you set your mind to, you should be able to achieve just that. Thank you, Tanedu, for having me here. Thank you for listening, everyone.